Hi everyone, my name is Lori, my nickname is Rooney, and I'd like to welcome you to Rooney Bopany Creations. If this is the first time you've stopped by to check out my channel, I'd like to offer you a very warm welcome. I do hope you like what you see, and if you do, please hit that thumbs up button, consider subscribing and sharing with your fellow crafters. It really does help us out. To all my amazing subscribers, welcome back. I do have another outdoor lighting idea for you today. And actually, you could use this one inside in an entryway, actually anywhere. But it turned out really cute. The pictures, I need to take a course on taking nighttime lighting pictures. You'll see, and it is very pretty. The pictures really don't do it justice. So give it a whirl if it appeals to you at all. I think you'll be pleased with the results. So this is what it looks like. And I'm going to stop yakking at you, and we'll get on with the crafting. Alright guys, so for today's craft, you're going to want to pick up one of these, or you can get the round bucket. You can get whatever one you want, what suits your decor. But I paid $4 for this at the dollar store. So you need one of these, and then you're going to need some Oasis. Now it just turned out that these fit more or less with a little shoving into my bucket, so that's going to work just fine. And then at the end of this, and you'll see, we're either going to use rocks, you can use moss, but we'll get there. So you can use rocks out of your house, you can use the fancy rocks from the dollar store, but we'll worry about that when we get there. We're also going to need some string lights, so they can either be the solar ones or the battery operated, whatever you want to use. And I'm going to give you a couple of options, because this was an old blind that was kind of falling apart at my house. And so I kept it thinking, I'm sure I can figure out something to do with it, and I did. So if you don't have an old bamboo blind, you can use sticks from your yard, you can use the skewers. You know, if you go to a dollar or a garage sale, I see them all the time out here. I don't know if everyone else does, but those fancy sticks with the, you know, maybe the curl at the end or whatever, it's just the decorative ones. So whatever you've got like that, I was actually going to use sticks from my yard until I remembered I had this blind and thought this would be perfect for it. So then my next step, and I'm not going to make you watch all of that because that would be dull. I just took them off of the blind thingy, and I just pulled them out. And I broke them, and for me, I did them in 4 different lengths. And I didn't really measure them. I wanted mine to be fairly tall for what I'm doing. Again, that is totally personal preference if you have a place you know they're going. So just to give you an idea, I will measure them for you just so you can kind of see, but like I said, this is a measurement after the fact. I didn't measure them when I did them. So the longest ones are 3 feet, and then I went down to about 30 inches, and then about 25, give or take, and then about 17 or 18. And they're not perfectly the same size, they're just pretty much the same size. Like I said, no measuring, I just broke them. I didn't, you know, cut them nice or anything. So to start, I'm going to take our longest ones, and I'm not entirely sure how many it's going to need to make this work the way I have it in my head. But we're going to start with the longest ones because we're going to put those ones in the middle. Now this is going to be a little bit hard to see the whole thing because of the crafty size in the room. So I'm going to start just by putting like a row in the middle. And I'm going to do them not touching, but fairly close together. And you'll see they wobble a bit, and that's fine. Whether they do or don't will not really matter, especially when we get the rest of our sticks in. Once I get that first middle row in, I'm just going to do one more row reasonably close, not quite touching, but pretty close on either side of the first row. Now when we get our rocks and stuff in here too, this will help the overall stableness of them, but it's okay if they're a little wobbly. And if you're using the skewers and they're not, that's fine too. They don't have to be for sure. In fact, I'm hoping some of them straighten up just a bit when I'm done. So once you've got that first row with the longest ones in, you're going to go with your second longest ones and do them around the first ones. So, you know, sort of a row on either side. But again, we're not measuring. We want nothing to be perfect, more random. And we're just going to start filling it in. Okay, so before we carry on with our bamboo skewers, I was trying to use some solar lights. That's not going to work. The ones I have are so long that they're going to be a bit difficult to work with. So you can get the dollar store ones, or the Dollar Tree solar lights, string lights. They'd probably be perfect if you're, I'm assuming, putting this outside. But my dollar stores, I don't even think they had them this year. So I just have the little battery operated ones. I always have a bunch of them. You usually can get them at Christmas, but I know they keep them around now too. So you can certainly use those, which is going to have to be my option. So I'm just going to start by running a row around, like sort of in and out, not on every one, not like I'm basket weaving, just enough to keep them sort of in place where I want them. And I'm going to take it right to the end, but I'm not going to use all of the lights. I'm going to wait till the rest of the bamboo skewers are in, or bamboo slats, or whatever these are. And don't worry if some of them move around, they're going to do that. Not much you're going to be able to do about it. So you can always straighten them up. It's not a big deal. Okay, so I just put them through the center. That's all I wanted. So I'll weave the rest once we get the rest of our skewers in. So if there's anything I feel like I've moved too much, yep, that one. I'll just straighten out my skewers. And you can always, of course, play with them when you're done too, if you don't have them quite where you want them. Okay, so now we're going to go to our next side, and just like we did before, we're just going to keep going in front. And you guessed it, we're going to do the smallest ones last. But before we do that, I think we're going to finish stringing our lights through. So, I still have one more to go here. I'm going to just tuck the end, just into the end with the switch up. Okay, gang, so I got these 4 bags of rocks from the dollar store. I don't know if I will need all of them or if I will need more of them, but this is the part where it's going to get a little just finicky, just something you're going to have to play with. So I'm just going to start by the bag. And then, without covering my lights, I'm going to use the rocks one to hide the bottom, of course, but I'm also going to use them. This will be where I make the adjustments where, you know, maybe if they're not standing up quite straight or how I want them, this will be the point where I start fixing that. So I'm just gonna mess around with them until I get everything how I want it. And you're gonna have to like stick them in between. And I don't know that I'd get too uptight about covering all of it. You're not really gonna see it a whole bunch. Okay, so for the final touches, you can see I checked the lights because I thought, oh, let's make sure the batteries work. I've got this roll of rope that I got from the dollar store for $4. I've used it for everything. I was going to go with the twine, and you certainly can do that, but I kind of think this would contrast better and not blend in so much. So I cut enough to go around it 3 times. Not the bucket, the actual reeds. So I'm just not going to do it tight enough that it sort of stays. So I'm just going to wrap it around, which is a little difficult because it's quite tall. There we go. I'm going to bring it up to just below our shortest ones. And I'm going to bring it in a little bit, but not, I don't want it too tight. I just want it kind of keeping everything sort of together there. And then I'm going to turn this around so you can see better. I'm just going to tie it. A little bit further, I guess. Okay, there. I'm just gonna tie it in a knot just to hold it, nothing crazy. And don't worry about the knot, we are gonna hide it. Okay, so just like that, I'm just going to arrange it how I kind of want it. And then taking my hot glue gun, I am just going to just tack it in a few places to sort of keep it from sliding or whatever. And then just for the final touch, actually I have 2 final touches. So the other final touch is just one of these cork lights. I just thought with the colored lights, I'm not sure it's going to be as bright as I'd like. So I thought if I just put some of these through as well, that will give me a little bit of extra brightness, but I still get the color that I wanted. I'm just going to do the same thing as I did, just tuck it in behind sort of thing with the switch where I can get it. Again, this one is not solar either. Probably would have used the solar if they had them, but this will be just fine. So I'm just going to weave this one sort of around the outside of it, as you will see here. So just kind of in and out and weaving it around. Okay, and now for the very final touch. I have this little galvanized sign that says family, and I'm just going to put it right on the front just to pull the whole thing together, and I think that's going to be quite pretty. So I'm going to use quite a bit of glue. I'm hoping if it's too heavy, I will use some wire at some point to hold it as well. But I'm hoping this will be enough. And so I know this is not a great view just because of the size of this, so I'm going to take some better pictures of it. I'll take some daytime ones and some nighttime ones just so you can see the final product. And I think it's pretty cool. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing it all lit up at night here.